Hey, it's Ryan here in the Ryonet classroom in Washington with Chad Kirkenbush, the creator of this amazing product, printGRIP. Welcome.
Thank you, nice to be here.
So what are we gonna learn today?
So we're gonna do a little bit of application and a little bit of tips and tricks of putting it on and working with printGRIP today, your auto and your manual setups. The first thing you wanna do is get a nice premium palette tape. Once you get that down, the best part about that is when you go to remove it, that premium tape is gonna hold off and you'll probably get it back in one full pull, as opposed to pulling out, which I call the fingers, and having to get those off. You'd probably be less likely to peel up printGRIP, you know, when you're that far in. You know, with like a smaller board, you know, it's almost right up to the edge, and I would have, you know, a lot of issues with it. So that's why I would put a piece of tape down. So typically you'll put your sheet down and you just wanna kinda center it, or possibly slightly a little bit more to the top side.
Set the laser right there to the top so that we know exactly where it goes every single time. And it's pretty easy to tell because these are obviously square, so you can actually see, you know, kind of the relation to the Platen, whether you're using a laser or not, you know, where it actually goes.
So now what I like to do is I like to take the back side and peel down your backside release paper just about 2 inches. So I like to get about maybe 2 or so inches down, and then you can kind of adjust it. With that being just up a little bit in the back, you have full maneuverability over your Platen. So you get that lined up, and then we'll go ahead and crease that backside down as long as you're fully on here. So what you'll do is you'll put your backside down, and then essentially what you'll do is you'll take your, this is like a clean card or
like a vinyl squeegee.
You're gonna pull your bottom sheet out, and as you're doing that, you're gonna be working this down to get out all the air bubbles.
And then that air is just coming out like that. And obviously, you're pretty much doing this, I'm doing this backwards, but you can see it going down really nice. Mm-hmm. And this top surface paper is pretty slick, so it makes it pretty easy to squeegee. Try to use a screen printing squeegee, and that's a little sticky. So in that case, it might be a little bit faster, but again, like Chad, you were saying, you're doing this one time every few 100,000 pieces, or you want to take your time and get it on real good. What do you think? We got a little crooked. Was that a big deal? Like this one's up here a little.
As long as we're not over the side, you know, you're gonna be all right. Now we would pull off our top sheet, exposing our printGRIP surface.
Nice.
If you were to get an air bubble in here, what you do is you would spray this whole top surface with water, either work your air bubble out. You can peel this up, but be very careful because it could stretch it a little bit. Now that this is on here, what I like to do too is I like to put a little piece of tape on the top and the bottom, just to kind of protect your corners, so when you're printing, you don't get a little bit of the peel. Maybe about 1/4 of an inch in, and you can kind of cut a little bit here, and then you'll fold your corners in. You are gonna have your sheets left over, your top and your bottom sheets. Do not throw these away. These are really good later. And what you can use these for, let's say you're doing a run of V-necks, and you're gonna have exposed printGRIP here. When your squeegee comes down and your screen hits us, you're gonna get a kiss, and you're gonna hit that up. You can cut yourself a little triangle, and you'll just put that right in there, and that will block it out.
Here's an application of the light tack printGRIP, right?
And it's bigger than your Platen size. Clearly, this was applied and then trimmed too. And what happens is you get a real rough edge, and your printGRIP is probably gonna be either on or over the edge, which is gonna really be a fight when you're putting on and taking off your shirts. You're going to wanna measure your Platen and then trim your printGRIP first and then apply. So if you want your printGRIP to go all the way up just a bit on the inside, you'll get a little bit overage right here, and you just wanna mark that as just a little triangle to where you wanna kinda trim it to the edge. We'll put a little mark. We'll get our T-square up here now. We'll mark our edge, and you can cut this with a blade or you can cut this with a scissors. And this works great, you know, if people have Platens with necklines. Here we'll trim our corners just a little bit. Centered in, and we're just there, about 1/4 of an inch around the edge. Of course, we got palette tape down. This one, we'll take the top sheet off and we'll spray with water and kind of work it down that way. So once again, we'll just go ahead and start with about 2 inches down so we can kind of center it out. Once we got that, we'll put that down. And then in this one, what we do is we would peel your top sheet off and we would spray with water. I like to use your hands just because it's going to be slick and you can just work that in, and it's just a really, really smooth process. You'll just want to grab that from the underneath side. You'll just start working it down as you're peeling that paper away. You're just taking your time with this, working out all those air bubbles. Once you get it down right, you have nothing to worry about for the life of the product. Do not worry about water. printGRIP is perfect with water. You're not gonna damage the product by using water. It can only enhance it.
All right, good job, Chad.
So you can just dry it off with a test shirt, and then the same, we would tape the top, tape the bottom.
So we got our brand new, perfectly applied printGRIP. Good job. It's super sticky. So let's talk about a little bit of how to interact that with different garments, because for some garments like hoodies, you want it super sticky, right? For fleece, but for some garments you don't. I will mention, never ever print this. Have you ever done that?
Yes, it sounds like a shotgun going off.
Oh, it's horrible. It will ruin your screen, destroy a class. You have to reburn the job. Yeah. I didn't rip the screen, but like it wrecked the registration.
Yeah, everyone's gonna know in your shop when you print it on a pallet.
So we have a couple different garments here. I have like carded, like a 20 singles, an all made tri-blend, and then all made, 30 singles, really nice. On your ring spun garments, you never want to put it on a fresh printGRIP, especially if you're doing like a solid design like that. Especially after it flashes, like pulling that off, it's hard.
Yeah, because when you put that fresh sheet down, you have the fully exposed surface. So you're fighting the complete platen.
So, but the thing is that for like tri-blend fabrics or fabrics that are gonna need a little bit more tack, sometimes you want that surface. For those garments, you don't really have to do much. You can just probably put those on and print. But if you do wanna kind of like soften that up.
So what I like to do is I like to pre-lint them up a little bit, and that will kind of let it self-block out with lint. So what you do if you got maybe a sweatshirt, or even in your sweatshirt run, you're just gonna put that down and you're just gonna give it a couple of pulls. You don't even have to take it off. Just kind of work that in and kind of get yourself a little bit of lint block.
Yeah, that works great. Still sticky, but it kind of like softens that up a lot.
And you can get it to the level that you want. You can, if you want this whole area self-blocked out, you can get that all linted up. And then if, let's say you're doing like a very small print on top, you can just clean out that area, and then you're not fighting the whole length of the Platen. You're just using the surface area you want to have your tack on.
And if you're doing new applications, again, you only have to do this once in a long while, but or if you just clean them, which we'll show cleaning in a second, you can maybe even put on a burner shirt if your shop has a history of printing Platens accidentally. Mm-hmm. So if you're 2 days since you printed your last Platen, maybe just train the team once they've cleaned them fresh to put on a burner shirt, so before they go around one time. It both like softens it up here, but also it will prevent you from ever printing that.
Just a spray bottle with water. I like to use just a little bit of just generic dish soap, and you don't need very much, maybe just a half a tablespoon to a tablespoon, depending on your size of water bottle. Just enough so it's not foaming up, aggressively when you're using it. But what that does is it gives you a little bit of clean with the ink, and then it also softens the fibers of the shirt just to kind of eases out, that cleaning process. So it's just a small, very, very affordable tip.
I'm the loader, unloader. I'm gonna spray it, kind of give it a chance to gel out a little bit, and then you're gonna scrub it.
2 operators is great. You have 1 sprayer, 1 cleaner, and then you allow the flash dryer to dry it. And then once you're back around, you're ready to go again. There's really no point to clean the entire surface if you're only printing a small section. That's the only area you'd really want. For this, we would have an oversized print, so we're gonna clean the majority of it just to kind of demonstrate that.
Okay, I'm just gonna spray this on like that, just about that much.
The more water you use, the easier some of that lint's gonna come off. Yeah, you just wanna wipe so that you just have a little bit of like the chunks of lint are gonna come off.
Oh wow.
And here's our fresh sheet, and this is gonna come off just super smooth.
So how long do you think it takes to clean a Platen?
Just a few seconds, and as you get more comfortable with it, once you find your way, it keeps getting faster and faster. And that's why, especially with shops where you have a loader and unloader, this is a great technique to use, because really when you're wiping it off, you're not really trying to dry it too much because the flash dryer is gonna do it. What you're trying to do is just get those big chunks of lint off so you don't get any relief.
So probably the number 1 question we get on printGRIP is fleece. How many times can you put it on? Do you need different, because there's different types of print grip too, right?
Yeah.
What do you call this, the medium tack?
Medium tack would be our white, and this is our high tack, and then we have a super high tack black.
The black, which is like put your hand on it, it doesn't come off.
Correct, correct. Like Ryan said, the number one question is, how many times do I have to clear the lint when I'm doing fleece? The easiest answer to say is when you're running your fleece and you're pulling it off, you're gonna feel that tack on your pull. A very easy rule of thumb is, how many times are you going to reapply your traditional adhesive? That would be kind of the range where you'd wanna say, that's where I wanna be when I clear my lint.
I think print grip actually works better than traditional adhesive, because like underneath the flash, as that hoodies also have moisture in it, so the flash is putting a little bit of moisture there. Like you said, it's good with water, so I think this will actually, let's say you have to spray tack every 1 round. This may work 3-4 rounds, maybe even longer than that.
You're exactly right. And the main reason for that is the tack on this is even, and it's on the whole surface of it. Whereas when you do a traditional glue, you may get a little heavy-handed, and it might not be completely even, whereas this is a completely even tack all the way across. So you're gonna get a hold across the whole entire surface area that you have exposed. So the one thing that I would always suggest to people is when you are printing fleece and you're gonna say, hey, I got my print down, I'm gonna bring it off. When you do that one pull and you're like, wow, that really pulled pretty good, you probably blocked a lot of your surface area with lint. So you might wanna just make sure that you're understanding where you're at.
Yeah, because the pull is obviously leaving stuff behind.
Correct.
So the next pull is not gonna be as sticky.
It's kind of the opposite of your traditional adhesives where you're going to apply, you're full. When you pull this off, you're actually blocking. So even though you pull it off and it feels really tacky, it may not be for the next one. So just a small tip, give yourself a test when you put that next one on, and you can even kind of test it yourself in a small area.
So that's still
and that's still really tacky.
What's the use application for the super grip?
The hold on the super heavy tack black is good for heavier weight and really, really like fleecy inside garments. It is kind of aggressive, so it's gonna give you the hold, but it's also gonna pull some fibers out. If I pulled it off and it had a really good tack, I wanna make sure that next one I put on has got the same amount.
Man, this is lasting a good amount of time. Obviously, we're not running through the print cycles.
Right, stuff, but even if you were to run through your print cycle, you're gonna get the pressure of your squeegee, and that's going to hold it down even more.
And now it's really starting to come up, maybe 1 or 2 rotations around, but that was like 10 times right there, close to 10 times. Okay, one of the things about printing fleece that we wanted to show on the print grip is the use of secondary adhesive. So let's say your hoodies or your fleece are just not sticking the way they need to, and you need to either clean this off or you need some kind of other sticky action. You got 2 options. You can use your water base or you can use your normal spray or your web. Now, ideally, water base is gonna work a little bit better because it's water and it cleans off the same water that you're gonna clean your print grip with. And that's just gonna sit just naturally right down into the print grip and the tack. Now, you notice it's actually not saving that much time. We're like, applied it, we could have cleaned it just as fast probably, right?
I think so.
But you don't have to put it underneath the flash as much. So there's the water-based tack, and we got our fleece down there like that. And it's a little bit more tacky. Oh, that's much better, yeah. So you see that? So that's sticky again without having to clean the platen. Let's stick this up.
Water-based glue. So normal web spray, you could apply that on top as well. You'd put your web spray down, knock it down.
Knock it down a little bit. And that's not gonna ruin the print grip?
We'll be able to clean it off after the fact, because now we're laying the glue down on top of the lint, not directly onto the print grip. So you have a little bit of a protection barrier.
That sticks way faster. So if you're in a rush, let's say you got 200 hoodies left to go and you're at the end of the production day, you don't have time to clean the platens, let them rotate around again. You can just spray some web on.
Definitely much faster, and for some of those more difficult fabrics that you're just not getting the tack that you desire.
But will it clean off?
Yes. Now that you have your other adhesives on top, and like I said, you would apply those on top of the lint, not directly to the print grip. You'd clean it, just a mild ink degradant, and then you're gonna wanna use something that's not gonna retransfer the chemical down. So what we're just doing is a normal test shirt here. You can definitely see that it's gonna take a little extra time to get that off. As long as we don't let it dry into the print grip itself, you should be just fine, because what you're gonna wanna do at the end as well is you're gonna want to rinse it thoroughly with water. It takes a little extra when you are putting a secondary adhesive on there, but you can get it back to almost 100%. And as long as you rinse all that chemical off, so there's no residue left behind, once fully dry, your print grip's fully back and ready to go.
Yeah, nice. So we'll flash that off. Whoa,
We're back.
that's a sticky one. So that cleaned off great. Can you burn this stuff? Can you over flash it?
It takes a lot to over flash it. It's been tested to what you would typically do a little above. It's been tested on a static flash up to 900 degrees for 20 seconds, which is much over what you would do. Now your quartz flashers, typically it's been up to 12 seconds on 260. When you start up in the morning, I always like to kind of get them wet. A lot of people probably heat their pallets in the morning. Yeah. I would say the only thing to do, water them and then flash them.
All right, one of the things that I noticed the first time using print grip, I think I printed about 3,000 all-made shirts, and it left a mess underneath.
Yes.
I think it actually does a better job of like collecting the lint, and then the lint just falls into one spot.
There's no adhesive on the lint. So when you want to clean it, it just cleans. It doesn't stick to your floor.
Yeah,
so,
versus like spray mist, and there's no spray mist. See, all these are water-based glue stains, you know?
Oh yeah.
And so that's not happening. It's not getting on my pants or my shoes. You are just using water to clean up the lint and then sweeping it up afterwards. Way better on your press. And then you think about this, where's this going if it's not going here? It's going like all over there in your mouth, you know, on your press. It's
much cleaner, much faster at the end of the day.
Get a grip!
All right, so today we covered a lot of things with print grip on how to apply, how to use it, some of the garments that it's great for, and auto versus manual, with it being a cleaner, a more sustainable product. I think it's something that screen printers need to try, test out, get it in their hands, find out that it's appropriate for their shop.
I actually think it's better, like not only, like you said, environmentally friendly, you're saving human potential by not changing your Platen tape, by not cleaning your press as much, and it's way more friendly on the environment from the spray adhesive perspective as well. So I think most printers, once they try it, once they get a grip, they're gonna like love it. And everyone that we've shown so far has double thumbs up. So thank you for inventing it and you know, bringing it to a market. It's a product that I think a lot of us have dreamed of for a long time.
Get it in your hands, get a grip yourself, find your way with the product.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready?
How do you want it?
1, 2, 3, get a grip! Like that.
We'll try it in unison.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, get a grip!